The world's a dangerous place. Get the industry's original and most trusted laser sighting system from Crimson Trace. A laser and light systems will enhance your effectiveness and help keep you and your family out of harm's way.
Today on Tom Gresham's Gun Talk, another shooting in a gun-free zone. Gun Owners Action League wants to examine why and prevent future attacks. Plus, a proposal to ban Social Security recipients from owning guns if they can't manage their finances. Call now, 1-866-TALK-GUN, or just dial Tom Talk Gun. Now, here's Tom.
All right, saddle up. Put on your seatbelt. It's going to be a bit of a bumpy ride today. We have a lot of ground to cover. I have a lot of things that I want to talk to you about, and I'm going to get deep into your business. Yes, I said I'm going to get into your personal business. We're going to have a serious conversation in not too long. I'm Tom Gresham, by the way. The show is Gun Talk. I've been doing this for about 20 years now, a little over 20 years. A lot of shows, a lot of talk, a lot of discussion, a lot of conversation about guns and ammo and scopes and hunting and competition, and more and more about self-defense. And always, of course, about gun rights. But a lot of talk about self-defense. And, of course, over the last 20 years, that kind of parallels the growth of concealed carry. There's concealed carry in some form or other available in all 50 states now. We have somewhere in the neighborhood of, I am told, 12 million people licensed to carry guns concealed. 100 million plus, maybe 110, maybe 120 million gun owners in America. But none of that matters unless you can talk about what it means to you. And we're going to get into that. One of the areas, and you know, I have to do the I told you so thing sometimes. Sometimes I just have to say, I told you that this is what Barack Obama would do. And before his first election, I had gun owners saying, oh, don't worry, Tom. He can't do anything without Congress. And Congress is not going to vote for gun control. So don't worry about it. And I kept saying, you're really not understanding this. It's about the courts, it's about the courts, it's about the courts. But it's also about the agencies, the bureaucracies, the departments. And that's what we're faced with now. We are looking at a full-scale assault on gun rights by unelected bureaucrats who are poking around into your personal, the most personal, private records that exist on you, anywhere, and using those records to go after you individually. Joining me to talk about this latest batch of information on this is Alan Gottleib from the Second Amendment Foundation. Alan, welcome to Gun Talk.
Hey, always great to be with you, Tom.
I want to talk about this news that broke, actually the LA Times, I believe, broke it this week, that the Obama administration, we know what they've been doing with the Veterans Administration. They said, and backing up, about a year ago, Obama administration sent a memo out to all these agencies and said, go through all of your records, combine the databases, send your information in. We will essentially, we want all the information you have on everybody in your database to look for ways to ban them from owning guns. Now, I wouldn't put exactly that way, but that's the end result of it. And so we're seeing the Veterans Administration, we know about that story of them saying, look, if you can't handle your personal finances, we're going to send that information to the FBI and you will be listed as a prohibited person. But the big news this week, I'm going to give it to you, hand it off to you. What are they doing now?
Well, now it's taking that and expanding it to the Social Security system, whereby they're looking to try and disqualify 4.2 million adults who now receive monthly Social Security benefits that are managed by someone else as a designated representative. So as an example, if you're an elderly person and you're on disability and you have your children manage your finances, they're figuring that you're not allowed to own a gun anymore because you can't take care of yourself. and therefore can't be trusted with a firearm. And they're looking to move 4.2 million people into the NICS database so that when somebody would go to purchase a firearm, they'd be disqualified from ownership.
So let me make sure that people are understanding what we're saying. There is nothing in the law that allows this. There is nothing in the law that says if someone else manages your finances, you are a prohibited person. Because being prohibited from owning a gun or buying a gun is very specific. There are only a few things that qualify you for that. And this is not one of those. So this is a unilateral action being taken by the Obama administration. This time it's 4.2 million Americans when they start doing the database searches through Obamacare and saying, oh, wait, you've been prescribed a medicine that in the side effects says may cause suicidal thoughts, blah, 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 et cetera, all those little things we hear on the commercials. We're going to list you as prohibited person also, and there's nothing you can do about it.
To believe this administration won't go that far, considering they're already going this far. The argument here is that some people, if you're not mentally competent, you're not allowed to own a firearm. But that's if you've been adjudicated as a mental incompetent or a court has said so. This is where the administration is going to play judge, jury, and executioner and decide that they're going to claim that you're mentally incompetent because somebody else is managing your financial affairs. I mean, this is so horrible. It's just unbelievable. I mean, what are they going to take away next? The person's right to vote because you're not, quote-unquote, competent because you can't manage your financial affairs? I mean, the logic here is just crazy. It's totally unconscionable that someone who might have problems balancing a checkbook or managing their finances should suddenly find themselves stripped of their right to keep their arms or any other constitutional rights.
Well, and as I say, and the main thing is there's nothing in the law that allows them to do this. But if they just send this information to the FBI, it goes into the NICS check, the National Instant Criminal Background Check System. And then when that person goes to buy a gun, then it comes up, this person is prohibited. He or she was unaware of this because he or she had never been adjudicated mentally incompetent, had never been convicted of a felony, had never met any of the criteria for being a prohibited person. And boom, all of a sudden, here's 4.2 million people on the prohibited list. What's to keep them from just going on? And we know they're doing this with all these departments. They've told all these departments, send us your entire database so we can put this into the NICS system.
And they're already doing it with the Veterans Administration. They've already disqualified well over 200,000, veterans from being able to own firearms. But for the administration to, quote-unquote, equate Social Security recipients who own firearms with felons, drug addicts, and illegal immigrants who can't own guns is not simply insulting. It's insidious. I mean, and you're right. Who knows where this could lead?
All right, real world question, Alan, because you're a real world kind of guy. What can be done? How does it get done? Whether it's in the open, in Congress, or back door where you slide it in the backside. What, if anything, can be done about this now, or do we have to wait for the presidential election?
Well, if in fact this becomes a rule of this administration where they do this, now that some light is being shed on it, and again, thanks to the LA Times, which is unusual in this case, because they're not pro-gun rights at all. But there's a significant number of veterans groups, senior citizens groups, psychological associations, and doctors that are really upset about this. So it's gone beyond just the gun community at this point being upset about the Obama administration doing this. But what we're looking at right now is going to court over this if this is going to be put in place. So right now we're looking for senior citizen plaintiffs who have somebody else managing their financial affairs who want to join in our lawsuit and be a plaintiff. So if anybody knows of anybody, please contact us at saf.org and let us know, because right now we're setting this up for a lawsuit. So if the administration, in fact, tomorrow comes out and this is definitely definitive, the ruling, and this is what they're doing, we want to go to court immediately and shut it down.
The other thing, it occurs to me that what also would be needed is the next president would have the ability to come in and issue a memorandum to FBI and to all these departments to knock it off, take all of that information off the NICS check database, and for all these departments to quit collecting this information and to quit sending it into NICS. That can be done with a memorandum just as easily as Obama did it the other way.
Yeah, it could. My only concern with that is that once you're in this NICS database, getting you out of it sometimes isn't so easy. And once they've mixed the records together, my guess is it's going to create lots of problems for lots of people no matter what, because they seem to never get it right with the NICS background check database.
Yeah, and then, of course, you combine that with now the call for saying dealers should not obey the law, because, of course, the law says that if the FBI doesn't have its act together and it cannot give you a yes or a no in 3 days on a quote-unquote instant background check, then you can legally buy a gun. And now we have the gun banner forces saying, well, that may be the law, but we want you to not follow the law. We want you to simply not sell a gun to anybody until there's a background check is complete. And, of course, you and I are looking at that and going, well, wouldn't that just be convenient if they just never quite got around to issuing the information to anybody?
And, of course, Tom, the more names you put into this database, the longer it is and the harder it is to search it and come up with an approval. So that's part of the game here. The more people you put into this NICS database system, the harder it is and the more time it takes. You don't hire more personnel. You don't get bigger computers, so to speak. It delays it that much longer. And then hence all of a sudden nobody can get a gun because they've shut the whole system down. Do you trust them with this system? No. Do you trust them with government records and computers? No. Look what we've gone through in the last few years. I mean, American people aren't stupid. We know how government operates and how it works, and they're going to do what they want to do. They don't care what the letter of the law says.
So, I mean, that's kind of what we're faced with. So if anybody thinks they would qualify under this, please contact the Second Amendment Foundation, saf.org. Alan, thank you so much. Keep us posted on anything else you hear, would you please?
My pleasure, Tom. Thank you.
All righty, thank you. All right, when we come back, we're going to have a personal conversation, you and me. And I'm going to get in somebody's face. It might be yours. 866-TALK-GUN.
EWL by Slip 2000 is the absolute best gun lube available, period. It will never gum up or become sticky. It won't attract dust, dirt, or sand, and doesn't freeze in cold weather. It penetrates and bonds with a metal-reducing friction and wear, which means less cleaning and easier cleaning. Why not try it? Visit our participating dealer for a free sample or go to slip2000.com. That's slip2000.com.
The .45 Auto, also known as the 1911, is the standard other defensive pistols are measured against. No matter what pistol you carry, techniques developed around the 1911 are vital. You know you need training, and you know your concealed carry class definitely was not training. Now GUNTALK presents an exciting DVD, Fighting with the 1911 with Tiger McKee. Tiger's unique training style will have you drawing, moving, shooting, and running your gun better, no matter what style pistol you prefer. At ShopGunTalk.com, you can order our DVDs of Tiger's instruction. ShopGunTalk.com also has a 2-DVD set, including Concealed Carry 1. Get both for the information you know you need. This really is life and death. ShopGunTalk.com has DVDs, books, and other essential gear. ShopGunTalk.com. That's ShopGunTalk.com.
The XDM 3.8 Compact from Springfield Armory is 2 guns in 1. Use as your concealed carry gun with a compact magazine and use the extended magazine for home defense. Carry 13 rounds of 9mm in the compact magazine and a whopping 19 rounds in the extended magazine. To see the entire family of Springfield Armory XDM pistols, go to SpringfieldArmory.com. That's SpringfieldArmory.com.
There's a rise in home invasions in America, and you need to be ready. Ready to protect yourself and your family. The Bedside Backup from Crossbreed Holsters keeps your gun at your bedside, ready to go. It also folds flat for easy storage and travel. Take it with you and use with any hotel bed. To see more, go to crossbreedholsters.com. That's crossbreedholsters.com. The Bedside Backup is not a child safety device.
All right, back with you. 866-TALK-GUN gets you in here. That's our number, 866-TALK-GUN. We got a lot of stuff going on. This is the last week for you to enter for the grand prize. This is the super duper. I mean, this is a heck of a package. Giving away a Nosler Model 48 Patriot rifle. It's chambered in the 28 Nosler. 5 boxes of Nosler trophy-grade ammo, a Loophole VX3 scope, lots of cool stuff there. Go to GUNTALK.com/win, W-I-N, and you can enter for a chance to win that. Also, this is, we're right up against the deadline for you to enter in the Knife Rights Ultimate Steel Sweepstakes. Stunning prizes. I think it's like $138,000 worth of prizes being given away in this thing. It's unbelievable. And the knives you will see there, if you go to kniferights.org, the knives you will see there will make your eyes water. They're so gorgeous. And lots of guns being given away. And guess what? Guess what one of them is? A GT20. Yes. One of the SIG P220 pistols that we created to celebrate the 20-year anniversary of Gun Talk Radio. We squirreled one away. And it's in the giveaway package from Knife Rights. So go to kniferights.org and you can make a donation. You can enter that sweepstakes, that fundraiser. It's called the Ultimate Steel. It's just amazing, the stuff that is in that prize package there. All right. Theater shooting, Lafayette, Louisiana, close to my home. I live in South Louisiana. Lots of people spending a lot of time spinning their wheels on, how could it happen? How could it happen? How could it happen? Oh, give me a break. It happens. How could you get a gun? I don't care. I just don't care. Are you kidding me? Guy wants to kill people is going to kill people. Same week, we've got 2 teenagers in Oklahoma who kill 5 people with knives and machetes. Not a lot of outrage there. People will find what they need to kill other people. Now, the latest we're getting from about this guy is evidently he went to several theaters, scoped them out. There's security at this theater on Friday and Saturday nights, so he went on a Thursday night. This was premeditated. This was planned. He went there to kill people and to die. When people with guns showed up, he killed himself. Let me say that again. When people with guns showed up, he killed himself. Now, we're really fortunate. The police there were Johnny on the spot. They were actually parked not very far away. They boogied in there. It was like 1 minute response time, which is great, except, of course, it's too long. Everything's too long. Anything's too long. Holy cow. So, here's my question for you. I hear people say all the time, I'd do anything to protect my family. I'd do anything to protect my children. I'd do anything to protect my wife. To which I say, oh, really? And I'm sure you say it, meaning every word of it. To which I say, oh, really? Really? You'd do anything to protect them, really? Are you carrying a gun all the time? Well, no, sometimes maybe. But I thought you'd do anything. Well, it's uncomfortable. Yeah, that. In a theater, or almost most of the time when a self-defense gun is needed, guess what it is there? It's dark. Do you have a light on your everyday carry gun? Well, gee, Tom, that would make it bigger and harder to carry. Tell me again how you're doing everything. You would do anything to save your family, to protect your family. Tell me that again. How many classes have you taken? Multi-day self-defense classes. Have you ever been trained to shoot while you're moving? Have you been trained to shoot on the ground? Have you been trained to shoot while you're moving laterally or forward or backwards? Have you been trained and practiced shooting with your weak hand, left-handed if you're right-handed, right-handed if you're left-handed? Oh, geez, yeah, I've always wanted to do that. But boy, just the time it takes and the dollars, and we're really planning out our vacation. Yeah, I know. But you'd do anything, right? You can always tell what anybody values by two things. What do they spend their money on? And what do they spend their time on? And yeah, I'm talking about you and I'm talking about me. I don't care about the political situation. I don't care about society trying to fix this problem because I can't do that. You can't do that. What you can do, if you do it right, is you can try, no guarantees, you can try to take care of those around you. I'd do anything to protect my family. How many of us have said that? Think about the commercials on TV where they have the car crash and they rewind it and roll it backwards and you see it developing and then they kind of talk about what could have been done to prevent that. Think about that in a mass shooting. Now roll it back in your particular situation. What could I have done a week before, a month before, a year before that would have prepared me for that moment? Could I have carried a bigger gun? Oh, yeah, but man, that's heavy. I don't care. You think the bad guy cares? You think the bad guy cares that you're uncomfortable? Yeah, all he wants to do is kill you and your wife and your children. You think the bad guy cares that it makes your loadout just a little bit bigger and bulkier if you've got a flashlight on it? But he's pretty glad you don't have a light. Huh. I'd do anything to protect my family. Would you now? Would you now? Have you? Your money and your time, where do you put it? That's your priorities. All I'm saying is take a look, do some self-analysis. Time for reflection is now. You cannot go undo it later. You have to do it now if you're going to be ready when it happens to you and your family.
Covering all aspects of gun ownership every week on this fine radio station. You're listening to Gun Talk with Tom Gresham.
Welcome back. 866-TALK-GUN. Get you in here. 866-TALK-GUN. Sometimes government entities put up no gun signs on government property when they have absolutely no authority to do so. For the last 2 years, I've been fighting one here in my local area. We're getting it fixed. It is taking this long to get it done. A lot of it's happening behind the scenes. Sometimes that's how you get things done. Alabama just experienced that, and joining me right now to talk about that, explain kind of what happened, Liston Matthews. He's the Knoxville gun rights examiner on examiner.com. Liston, tell me what happened here.
Well, Tom, I don't really know if I'm the one that started it or not, honestly, but I know it started something in me. I was traveling through your area on the way to San Antonio, Texas to see some friends back at the end of April, and I spotted one of their gunbuster signs. On the way back, I took a picture of one of them, and outside the building at the Welcome Center, they have this big granite monument with an inscription on it that says, "We dare defend our rights." And to me,
yeah, it says, "Alabama, we dare defend our rights," right outside of the Visitor Center. All right, go ahead.
Exactly, yeah, and as they say in Tennessee, that just flew all over me because
okay.
there's a disconnect between defending your rights and not being able to defend your rights when you have to go to the bathroom.
Explain what happened, because as you get closer and closer to the Visitor Center, then the sign says, "Welcome to Sweet Home, Alabama." That sounds good.
Oh, yeah.
And then you get to the final point where it says, "No weapons beyond this point." They had put up signs banning personal firearms in the Welcome Centers even though there's no law that allows them to do that, right?
That's right. Yeah, I went to handgunlaw.us and followed the links to Alabama's official website and looked at very carefully at the text of the law that would pertain to this, and there was nothing that authorized them to do that. So I emailed Governor Bentley several times over the course of several weeks, and I even sent him a snail mail letter by U.S. mail. Heard nothing, and then on July the 23rd. 3 days ago, I emailed the Lieutenant Governor of Alabama and the Speaker of the House, Speaker Hubbard, and I asked them to look into this deal, and nothing but the silence was very loud, and then
crickets.
It's like the crickets out in my backyard at sunset. Then on July the 24th, 2 days ago, Governor Bentley tweeted, "I have ordered the Alabama Department of Transportation to remove signs banning weapons at all Alabama rest stops, quote, to comply with state law." Okay, so what he has done with that tweet is he is agreeing with me that those signs that were up there were illegal signs in the first place.
Well, exactly. And of course, and there were other people working on this. I'm glad you were on it, Liston. Other people have been beating on this. But the point is, it took a lot of people speaking up and saying, this is wrong. You can't do this. And, you just have to keep applying the pressure. I mean, but
That's right.
It's amazing that he actually tweeted out, we're taking down the signs to comply with law. In other words, the signs were illegal in the first place. That's
exactly right, yes. And so now we're doing a little happy dance and celebrating that we won another victory. It's we don't know the extent of the victory, but it's still a victory because it does allow people with their permission slips from their home states to actually legally go into the restroom with their defensive handgun.
Exactly. I mean, that's pretty much it. Liston, thank you so much for your help, your explanation of this. It's good information coming out of Alabama. By the way, if you want to read some of Liston's work, just go to examiner.com, look for the Knoxville Gun Rights Examiner. He's a good writer. He's right on top of it. All right, when we come back, let's talk a little bit more about self-defense, theater shootings. What are you doing to protect yourself and your family? Are you doing everything? People say, well, I would do anything. Well, the question on the floor is, are you? 866-TALK-GUN.
In the war on terror, fighting crime in the streets, in competition and homes around the world, one name in firearms stands out: Sig Sauer. Our pistols and rifles are renowned for their unfailing performance. This same commitment to excellence can be found in our line of SigTac accessories and the training offered by the Sig Sauer Academy. For unmatched quality, reliability, and innovation when it counts, choose Sig Sauer. Visit SigSauer.com today.
In the fight for gun rights, we need ammunition, intellectual ammunition. And no one does it better than researcher John Lott, author of More Guns, Less Crime. John created the Crime Prevention Research Center to counter the junk studies being done to push gun control. But he doesn't have the big bucks of billionaires like Michael Bloomberg. All he has is us. So I'm asking for your help. Go to crimeresearch.org and donate what you can. This research makes all the difference. People ask what they could do to help preserve the Second Amendment. Honestly, this is one of the best moves you can make. If you can give a lot, that's great, but even the cost of a box of ammo helps. We need John Lott's intellectual ammunition. Go to crimeresearch.org. It's time to step up. crimeresearch.org.
You're at a gun store and your phone tells you about hot deals. Want to know about special offers? No problem when you have Gun Dealio, the free app for your smartphone. Gun Dealio delivers the latest deals on guns, ammo, and extras direct to your phone. Don't overpay for your shooting gear. Get Gun Dealio. It's free at the App Store and Google Play. Trigger the deals with Gun Dealio. GunDealio.com.
Brownells has always given you an advantage. With their huge selection of forever guaranteed gun parts, ammunition, shooting accessories, and more. And now, they're offering you the Edge. For just $49.95, Brownells Edge covers your standard shipping and any return shipping cost for 1 year. Brownells Edge members also receive discount expedited shipping and exclusive offers. Get the Edge today by visiting brownells.com/edge.
Yeah, question on the floor is, when people say, I would do anything to protect my family, are you doing that? Are you putting your time and your money into that? Or are you just saying, well, yeah, I carry a revolver, a little pop gun. Really? Okay. If you're really serious about this, you need to be thinking, I'm just throwing out this thought for your consideration, you need to be thinking about carrying a real gun with an actual light on it, because chances are whatever happens is going to be in the dark. And you need to carry an extra magazine. And you need to be getting regular, as in maybe annual training, multi-day classes. Yes, money, time, inconvenience, discomfort. Tell me again how you would do anything to protect your family. Clark Aposhian is a trainer, firearms trainer, self-defense trainer in the Salt Lake City area. Joins us right now. Hey, Clark, how are you?
I'm fantastic, Tom. How are you?
I am well. I know that's not what you called in about, but I do want to just get your take on my thought there. Of people always say, "Well, I'll do anything to protect my family. I would do anything. I would take a bullet for him." Well, I don't want you to take a bullet for him. I want you to shoot the other SOB.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we don't shoot to kill, we shoot to live, and that includes your whole family. And you need to visualize the stuff that you have talked about before. Visualize nasty, rotten things happening in your home, your office, the store, your car. And when you start visualizing these types of things, you start to realize how your plan is deficient, and that gives you an opportunity to fix it.
I like that. You realize how your plan is deficient. And the only way you can know that is to, 1, get training, 2, become a continual student of this subject, which means reading everything you can get your hands on, looking at all the DVDs, all of our online videos, anywhere you can go for information. You're always just pouring information in about this. It becomes, it's thinking about it, Clark, it almost becomes like a second job, a little part-time job that you do, because this is a big part of who you are.
It will change who you are for the better, though, because we have, once you realize that, oh, crud, my door is not going to stop somebody from kicking it in, somebody can break the glass and unlock my deadbolt, these kind of things, it leads to an epiphany of sorts that people say, I've been sitting here with an imagination that I have been completely safe, and more people would rather they themselves get hurt than their family. Well, they're putting their family at risk at the same time. So
yeah, that's right. Because if you get hurt, then who's left to protect your family?
Yeah, visualize sitting at home at night. And that's why I tell my students, at your favorite easy chair watching, whatever you're watching on TV, and somebody busts down your front door. What do you do? When they say, well, I grab my gun. And, and I say, do you always have your gun right there next to you? And they say, well, no, but in my imagination I do. I say, well, you better think of plan B then. What is in your
imagination? Yeah. In your imagination, you better consider bullet holes in you. But I know that's not what you called about. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I want to go back to the Social Security thing, and this, and I want to throw something by you. And so basically, I've come to the guru of gun rights to do this, what I call the home office. And your show may in fact be the only place that gun owners actually have the chance to get the truth about the Second Amendment, about what's going on. It's kind of like, I tell my friends, it's like Drano. It cleans out all the crud that collects during the week that's forced into our ears by the media. So, 1, I want to run this by you and see what you think. with regards to that Social Security deal. Obama said after Newtown that he was going to do everything within the power of his office to achieve gun control. Now, notice he didn't say that he was going to try to influence Congress, but his office via executive action. 2,
Correct.
He's got a lot of IOUs to pay back to the media and anti-gun groups before he leaves this office. And 3, now, we all know, and this administration knows, that the senior citizens that are going to be affected are not doing drive-by shootings. They're not robbing pharmacies. They're not, home invading people. And as such, even if he gets this thing passed, it's not going to have any reduction in crime whatsoever. And make no mistake, this action bypasses every person's state legislature. It bypasses Congress. It bypasses due process. It takes away the ability for these folks to have guns. But to what end? And this is what I'm calling about, is what I think it does, even though it's not going to reduce crime at all, it softens the American people up for some form of gun control, some form of gun banning. It tenderizes us, and it gives our enemies, our adversaries, more ammunition to say, you know what, look at this. We've had this in place for, a year or 2 or whatever. And the American people do have the stomach for gun bans. They do have the stomach for gun control, and that's the perception that they're going to be putting out there. And every little incremental thing like this administration does.
Well, I completely agree. There's one other factor here, Clark, is in a year or 2 or 3, they're going to stand up, as they always do, and say, oh my gosh, this didn't reduce crime. Clearly, we didn't go far enough. We need more. Let me read something to you here. This is hours before the shooting in the theater in Lafayette. Obama is talking to the BBC, being interviewed by them. He, quote, "The issue of guns, that is an area where, if you ask me where has been the one area I feel I've been most frustrated and most stymied, it is the fact that the United States of America," here's the key, "the United States of America is the one advanced nation on earth in which we do not have sufficient common sense gun safety laws." Now, for him, of course, common sense gun safety laws mean repressive gun control, restrictions on freedom. But for him, we have 20,000 gun control laws, and he says we do not have sufficient gun control laws. So I think you're exactly right, Clark. The whole idea is to normalize repression, to normalize restriction, to normalize taking rights away from people, even without due process. And they can say, well, and they always say, well, you wouldn't want somebody who's just not quite there to be able to have a gun. Surely you're not saying put guns in the hands of people who are incompetent. Well, it's already a law. If a court has ruled that you are mentally incompetent, you can't buy a gun. That's the way it should be. You should have a chance to challenge this in court. But this is the Social Security Administration saying, okay, with one stroke of a key on a keyboard, 4.2 million people are prohibited from owning guns without a chance to challenge it, without even knowing who put it in or who did this to them.
Exactly. No recourse, nothing. I mean, they're not talking about recourse right now. You're absolutely right, Tom. And what Alan said earlier, absolutely right. This is a real thing. This is an absolute real thing, and you've got to get your U.S. legislatures, your Congress and your Senate, to combat this and close these, what I would call a loophole in the NICS check right now that allows them to do this.
Sure, exactly right. Clark, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Clark Aposhian from Salt Lake City. By the way, I just got a note back from email from Liston Matthews. He wanted to let everybody know that he's no longer with the Examiner. A lot of gun guys have left the Examiner recently, by the way. And now he's writing at Knox, that's Knox, knoxgunguy.com. That's Knox, as in Knoxville, Tennessee, knoxgunguy.com. Thank you, Liston. I appreciate that. All right, question for you on the floor. Will you examine your own personal situation? What are you doing? How does the news of another shooting like this affect you? Does it change your behavior? Does it change your thinking? Does it change where you go? Are you going to refuse to go to theaters? What are you going to do personally about this? 866-TALK-GUN. All right, back with you. 866 Talk Gun. Michael's joined us out of New Hampshire, line 4. Hey, Michael, how are you?
I am great. I am so happy. I'm looking at my brand new Ohio Ordnance BAR.
Yeah, really cool.
Yes, that is so sweet. But anyway, to get to the point, how I have a lot of red dot scopes, EOTechs, blah, blah, blah. I got them all. And then I use bore sighters. Mm-hmm. And then when I go in the garage, I sight it in, and then I go down the range. It doesn't come close. What is the trick with these things?
All right, the trick is you're doing it too closely. You've got an EOTech or something. It's mounted, call it probably 2 inches, maybe 2.5 inches higher than the bore.
Right.
So if you try to put the dot on your red dot at the same place that your bore sighter lines up at a distance of across the garage.
Yeah.
Well, these two lines, one that's a line of sight, one that's line of the bore, they're crossing at that point. But if you get out and shoot that now at 50 or 100 yards, those lines have been diverging for a long way, and they're not going to hit to the same place. So what you need to do is to get you someplace back off to 50 yards or 100 yards, and you can do the bore sighting, and then it's going to get you where you need to be.
Jesus, I got to go to a bowling alley at night now.
No. Now, let me ask you, when you say a red dot scope, it's just a red dot, not a laser, right?
No, it's not a laser. It's just a red dot. A holographic.
All right. Okay. Here's the trick here. What kind of bore sight are you using? Is it a laser bore sight, or are you just looking through the
scope? The laser bore sight that goes in the barrel with a Bushnell, one that goes in there,
All right. This is an AR, right?
But it works. AR is everything.
Wait. Before we move on, before we go on, I got a solution for you here. Is this an AR you've got this mounted to?
It's mounted to a 1919 A4.
Oh, okay. You can pull the bolt out, right? Right?
Did I lose you? Yep, I'm here.
Okay. Can you take the bolt out of that gun?
Yes, sir.
All right, take the bolt out. Put it on a set of pillows. Look through look through there.
Look right.
All right, but then all you got to do is look. Now you got to do is just look through the window at your neighbor's house over there. No, don't do that. But look at a tree or something that's 100 yards away. That'll work.
It's a little bit too hard to do it with a machine gun like that. But I'm just talking a regular gun. Let's talk about a regular.
Okay. All right. Your other question about your revolutions or spin. Michael, you still there, or did we lose you? I think we lost him. Okay. His other question was kind of a fun one. It says, when does a projectile stop spinning? Interesting question. There have been a lot of tests on this. I think Hatcher, General Julian Hatcher, did this. If you shoot a bullet straight up, for instance, it'll go up, and finally it slows down and stops going up. But the rotation hardly slows down at all, because while there's a lot of air resistance to the forward movement, there's almost no resistance to the rotational movement. So even when it goes up and stops and turns around and comes back down to the earth, as far as the research shows us, is that the bullet is still spinning a lot. Now, I just had that conversation with Jeff Hoffman at Black Hills Ammo. He was shooting ammo into ballistic gel. He said, it's weird. We're shooting out of like a 1 in 7 twist, but when we shot at a gel, we could measure it, and it's like a 1 in 4 twist. He said, do you have any idea why that is? I said, yeah, because the forward movement stops before the rotational movement stops. He goes, yeah. He says, I finally figured that out. He says, you figured that out faster than anybody I've ever talked to about that. I said, well, that's my geeky little gun world that I live in. All right, when we come back, wait till you hear this story. This is a great story coming up. A bunch of competitive shooters get together when some other competitive shooters who are going to be competing against them run into trouble. Obama's administration blocks the ammo from coming in from another country, going into a major meet, and our guys, they're going to be competing against them. They help these guys out get their ammo. It's a great story. You do not want to miss this. I'll be right back with more Gun Talk.